What's good? We at day 10, movie number 10 of my 31 days of Halloween horror movie reviews. And I decided, sorry, hold up, trying to fix my mic. All right, I always got to tighten it up until I get a new stand and all. But anyway, I decided to go into the Netflix category here when it comes to their horror original movies. And I decided to choose one that had a familiar face of, I see a lot of her movies. Florence Pugh. I'm actually a fan of her work. She's a really good actress. I know a lot of people know her from Thunderbolts, but I've known her before then in other films she was playing. But I realized on Netflix she had an original movie in 2018 called Malevolent. If I said that right. Did I say that right? I believe I did. Malevolent. Which is a horror movie, obviously, that she starred in. I'm like, oh, I never knew she was in a horror movie. So I was like, let's check this out. So basically, her and her brother run a scamming business where they fake paranormal encounters for profit. They've been doing that for a minute, and you could tell Florence Pugh is starting to wear off on it, where it's starting to really bother her in different ways where I don't want to spoil it in case you want to see it. But she decides that, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to do it no more. But her brother, being in some financial trouble, not just, with his life, but also like not his personal safe life, but also with the wrong people, is getting him in a lot of trouble. So he's like, nah, we got to do one more. But this certain client is offering to pay them double if they can help get the cries of their family that has passed on away from the household. Basically, just help them move on. It's like what mediums do in these movies. The brother convinces Florence to do it one more time. One more. She agrees. And I must say, she should have listened to her first mind when it was time to quit. Because then heading into this house, it opened up a whole lot of doors that they were not ready for. What was once a scamming business where they fake encounters and have put on this act in front of people actually becomes something more real, which is something they never prepared for. And it puts them in a lot of trouble. And they actually learn a secret about this certain client who hired them that is putting them in even more danger. So now, after being exposed for the frauds they are, they're now encountering real paranormal activity around here, and it is far beyond what they what they can handle outside of Florence, because you realize that Florence has dealt with certain things like this before. She just never embraced it. So now you start to learn more about her, and she's learning more about herself, but at the wrong time, because this house has its issues and issues that nobody was prepared for. And that's the movie, the quick overview of it. Now, I will say this. We've seen, if you are into horror movies and paranormal activity kind of movies, we've seen films like this before. And unfortunately, I've seen films that done a lot better. Is this movie terrible? No. Is it bad? I wouldn't say it's bad. It's very mid. And what I mean, and my reasoning for it is, outside of Florence Pugh's, if I say her name right, if I did say her name right, please let me know in the comments. Outside of her performance and the reveal of what's actually going on in this house, there's not much after that when it comes to this movie that intrigued me. The other actors in this movie, their roles were okay. The situations that they were in didn't grip me, and the ending result execution fell flat, in my opinion. Outside of the reveal, like I said, of what was really going on in this house and Florence, that was the only thing that kept me. Everything else fell flat. The pacing of this movie, even though it was only like, I think, an hour and 20-something minutes, the pacing of this movie, the execution of a lot of stuff when it comes to the paranormal activity situations, the horror aspect, I will admit, is not. It has a couple jump scare moments, but nothing heavy where it was like it was memorable. Even the horror aspect of it, very light. There's not much meat and potatoes in this movie, in my opinion. It's very mid. If you're a fan of Florence Pugh, you will watch it. Like, that's what I was glad I watched it for her performance, because I don't think I've ever seen a movie that she was in that she was bad in. So her character and all that stuff. It was one of those situations where a great actress in a very mid movie. Yeah, I can't really say it was disappointing because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But when it comes to the horror genre and the fact that there's plenty other paranormal activity kind of movies This one falls flat of being memorable. Like, I watched it once, I won't watch it again, and to be frankly, I might forget it. And if y'all, I mean, for those who are asking, should y'all watch it? Not really. Like I said, unless you're into Florence Pugh, like as an actress, there's for something that's an hour and 20 some minutes long. It felt longer. Um, for those who are looking for some great horror moments, there isn't any. Yeah, it just fell flat. It is a good lesson though to not stop messing with things that you don't fully understand. Like these people who are scamming others for fake paranormal encounters. Stop doing that. You're messing with things that's beyond your control and beyond your experience. So it was a good lesson in that. But it was a good paycheck for Florence, I guess. I guess you can put it that way. So yeah, not really gonna remember. There's way too many better paranormal activity movies, and even better movies where people fake experiences with like demons and spirits and stuff for profit, and then get exposed, and becomes a whole lot worse for them. Becomes a whole living hell. There's a lot better movies of that than this one. Well, thank you for tuning in to day 10. Hopefully, day 11 becomes a whole lot better. And I got to figure out some other paranormal activity films to check out outside of the original paranormal activity movies. Yeah, let me know in the comments. I forgot. There's been so many. Let me know in the comments what's a really good one. All right, I'll check y'all later.